So good evening, everyone. I hope you all are doing well. We are excited to have you for our webinar, Save Budgets, Scale Smarter with BigAtom's Stoploss Solution. This is the fourth in the series of webinars that we've been doing for BigAtom by AdYogi. The last webinar that we had was on intelligent overlays. As you all know, BigAtom by AdYogi is a product performance management platform enabling e-commerce brands worldwide to scale profitably through product level analytics and cost saving automations. Before we dive into today's webinar, I would request every attendee to please introduce themselves in the chat. Let us know which D2C brand you own or manage as a performance marketer. A quick brief before we begin. Feel free to ask us any questions. We have two great panelists today with us joining this webinar. They'll be happy to answer all your queries and questions. We'll be launching interactive polls as well during the webinar, so would love to hear your inputs as well. And stay tuned till the end because we'll be offering a 30-day free trial on the BigAtom tool for your D2C brand. So please stay tuned till the end for that as well. So I'd like to start by asking an interesting questions to the audience that we have here. As a brand, have you ever encountered any customer experience yourself where you have clicked on an ad on Meta or Google, landed up on a website and seen that the product that you liked while looking at the ad is not available, or basically the size that you wanted to purchase for a particular product, the size or particular SKU is not available on the landing page? I'm pretty sure this is something that most of us would have encountered whenever we are shopping online nowadays. Especially me personally, I have faced multiple times when I've liked a particular product, say a shirt, and when I landed, I saw that my size was not available. In fact, a recent report by Accenture said that 71% of shoppers come across products they find appealing only to discover that they are unavailable or out of stock. This not only frustrates customers, but also directly impacts our bottom line as well, right? Brands running ads in products with broken sizes or unavailable inventory experience a significant drop in conversion rates overall. In this webinar today, we'll be exploring strategies to overcome this common challenge and also discussing how you can optimize your catalog to enhance your ad performance as well. We can get started now. We'll start with a quick poll. Ananta, if you could just present the poll online now. Yes, so I think everybody can see the poll on the screen. I request everyone to please vote here. Have you ever noticed ad spends going into products which are not driving revenue as a e-commerce brand? Either yes or no. I believe most would be yes here. We have received most of the response here, and the answer to that obviously seems very common. I believe most of you are facing this problem of inefficient allocation of ad spends. I can see almost close to 90% of people have actually said yes to this question. So pretty common problem that everybody is facing out here. Without further ado, I'll just introduce our speakers today. We have Anshuk Agarwal, who is the co-founder of BigAtom. With over 10 years of experience working with global D2C brands like Puma, Levi's, Hunke Moller, Rare Rabbit, Sephora, Anshuk has managed an ad spends worth over $100 million. We also have Shriram. Shriram is the Associate Director of Product at BigAtom. With over 7 years of experience in building B2B products in the ad tech and e-commerce space, he has worked closely with D2C brands to develop tools that improve performance across paid channels and enhance e-commerce conversions as well. So, without any further ado, I would just like to welcome Anshuk to take us through today's session here.
Thanks, Shubham. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Super happy to be part of this discussion. Firstly, a very, very happy new year to all of you. 2025 is a very exciting year. I was telling this to my team also that we are at the intersection of e-commerce, marketing, and AI. And I think nothing could be more exciting than this because all three of them are super dynamic. Why e-commerce? Because we have quick commerce coming up and changing the e-commerce landscape. Marketing, Facebook and Google have been launching features left, right, and center, and things keep changing almost every single day. And AI, of course, we all know what kind of sort of buzz we have seen in AI in the last 3 months alone. If you've been following OpenAI, they've been launching features every single day, practically the whole of December. So it's a very exciting time out here. I'll jump into the agenda for today. We're going to speak about a global brand and how they were able to save ad spends with our stop loss feature. But most importantly, I'll talk about what's the root cause behind inefficient allocation of budget. And this is very, very important because a lot of us feel that why would Meta not take care of this? Why would Google not take care of this? And then I'll talk about specific 5 examples we have seen when we work with brands as to why budget goes wasted. What are some of the examples which we'll see? A bit about how can we do it manually. So even without an automation, I would highly urge all of you to give it a try of doing it manually, and you will see an uplift in ROAS just by this one exercise. And a little bit towards the end about how can we automate it using BigAtom, and happy to, of course, have any questions. Feel free to put them on the Q&A page as well. So just like I said, this is an example of a brand called Aza Fashion. It's a global luxury apparel marketplace. It does very good business in countries like US. What we saw for them is getting the stop loss up and running. We were able to save 19% of their ad spends, and this is massive. Imagine a brand, any brand which is spending, let's say, maybe 50 lakhs a month. 19% would be as high as 10 lakh a month, and we have seen that this is not a very unusual case. Many brands we come across, and what I also show on the right side is the kind of rules we used for them. So we just identified products which were spending more than, let's say, 10,000 in a 7-day period or a 14-day period, and were getting an ROAS of less than 1x. And this is Google Performance Max data, and we just excluded them from their Performance Max campaigns. And we saw that we were able to save around 19% of budgets. And this is not just one example. I'll sort of take a few more examples in the next 5-10 minutes, which sort of helps us explain this concept. Now, why would there be a problem of inefficient allocation of budgets? And it's extremely important for us to understand these 2 pointers. Number one, we have seen and we have known it also that Meta and Google, a lot of times they prioritize engagement over a lot of other key matrices. For example, if your video is very engaging, you will see that the video ad is getting a lot more clicks and impressions, even if the product which you are promoting in the video may be, let's say, not your bestseller product, right? So a lot of times you have seen that engaging ads end up getting a lot of spends, but they may not deliver the best ROAS. And that's because inherently social platforms want users to engage and spend more time, which is why they want to keep showing content with more and more people are engaging with, without really paying so much weightage to whether people who are engaging eventually purchase or not. The second challenge is also a lot of times data like gross margin, profitability, inventory data does not flow into Facebook and Google ecosystem. So even if they want to optimize your campaigns for inventory, they may not have this data flowing into their systems, which is why they may end up showing those products even without knowing that they have low inventory. So these are the 2 biggest root causes why we have seen that there is a problem of inefficient spend allocation, which happens on social platforms and also across Google ecosystem. What are some of the examples? I've picked up 5 examples for today. And I'll walk you through each one of them one by one. So maybe not spending too much time on this slide, but going to the subsequent 5 examples. The first one, and this is very, very obvious. The first one is very similar to the case study I spoke about as well, is spending on products which are not giving you good ROAS, right? And what I have on the screen is a very, very simple 2x2 matrix. You can also create it using Excel. And I'll show it towards the end of the webinar how it can be done. So imagine having an axis of spends, x-axis, ROAS, y-axis, plotting all your products into this 2x2 matrix. So you would have a bunch of products which are spending a lot but not giving good ROAS. And the exact opposite will be products which are spending less but giving very good ROAS. Now, the bottom right, which is spending more and having less ROS are the non-performers. And in this specific example, we see that these products are getting 35 to 50% of the budget, but driving only 10% of the revenue. While this might be a slightly, I would say, very extreme example, but we have seen this sort of a thing occur across multiple brands. So it's very common to see 20% of your budgets going into products spending only, giving only 10% revenue. And these are the exact products which become very, very, I would say, relevant for our stop loss feature. And we saw this in House of India as well. We saw that they were around 10 to 12% of the budgets going into these products, and we were able to remove them from the ads and save this equivalent budget from going into ads. And this could be across either Meta or Google, or even, let's say, cumulatively, we can look at this data across both the platforms. The second one is actually not as intuitive as the first example. And I'll give you a sort of my understanding behind it. On D2C ecosystem, unlike marketplace, we don't pay Facebook for the sales. So for example, imagine you are selling a 500 rupee product, right? On Amazon, you will pay a percentage of 500 rupees. So you probably pay 20%, 30% to Amazon. But on D2C ecosystem, we don't pay as per the product which you are selling. Facebook will probably charge you the same CPC, roughly the same CPC, let's say 15 rupees, whether you're selling a 500 rupee product or you're selling a 5,000 rupee product. The CPC does change a little, but not significantly. Now imagine you're getting a 15 rupee click, and out of, let's say, 50 people, only one is converting, which is a 2% conversion rate. Your acquisition cost has already become 750 rupees, which means if you're running ads of products which are less than 1500 rupee in your catalog, and you're paying 750 rupees for acquisition, your ROS is always going to be less than 2x. And that's exactly what we are seeing time and again. What you see on the screen is an actual table of price bucket, wise spends and revenue of an actual client and what kind of ROSs they have seen. And we can clearly see that lower price buckets don't give very good ROS. So imagine if you're spending a lot of ad spend on a product which is only 1200 rupees, we would see ROSs being very low. And this is also becomes one of the use cases of excluding these products from the catalog and not letting spends go into this. The exact opposite is also products which have higher average order value, something like 6,000, 7,000. And we see that they are getting significantly higher ROS, could be 5x, could be 6x, could be 7x as well. The third example which I shared today is also not is often overlooked by brands, and this becomes very critical. The reason it gets overlooked is a lot of times we don't map our inventory data and we don't have ready access to our inventory management systems. But we have done this across multiple brands, and our recommendation is to stop showing ads of products which have inventory less than, let's say, a certain number. It could be less than 10, it could be less than 20. And the reason is, if you run ads on them, very soon these products will go out of stock. And the moment the product goes out of stock, even organic sales on the product will stop. So what is highly recommended is we run ads only on products which have slightly above the base inventory, could be like 30, 40, 50, so that over a period of time, a good share of our catalog still remains in stock. So imagine in this particular case, this men's brown solid boots, because it has only 9 inventory left, our recommendation would be to remove it from the catalog and let these 9 boots sell on their own organically when people are landing on the website. That will help us maintain a higher catalog which is in stock over a longer period of time. This is a strategy we used for brands like Levi's, and we found that roughly about 2 to 3% of ad spends can actually be saved from these lower inventory products. And I just want to call out that low inventory does not mean out of stock. They are still in stock, but their inventory count has come down. And this inventory count can come from any of the inventory management systems. It could be Unicommerce, it could be Shopify, Vinculum, eShopbox. All of them, you must be using 1 or 2 of them for the inventory management. And we can pull this data and sort of exclude these products. This is broken sizes, the fourth example for today. Also something which Shubham spoke about at the beginning of the webinar. Very common example. I have personally clicked on ads to land on the product page only to find medium or large out of stock, and then getting frustrated and sort of dropping off. We have seen that when a product goes broken, roughly about 50% conversion rate gets dropped. So if you are otherwise have a 2% conversion on the website, on broken size products, the conversion rate could be as little as 1%, maybe even lower than that. The big challenge here is if you have a product which has medium or large out of stock and the extreme size is in stock, as per Meta and Google, the product is still considered as in stock, which is exactly why Meta or Google do not exclude these products from their ads. And by very nature, these products are supposed to be more engaging because that's why they have become broken. They are your top sellers, they are your fast moving inventory. So they end up garnering a lot of budget in the ads purely because people like these products and people click on these products. So it becomes a challenge that you get a lot of engagement on these products by the nature of them being more engaging, but you don't get conversions because people land on the product page and then they drop off. This is a challenge we have seen for multiple brands. We did this for a brand called Rareism. It's a part of the Rare Rabbit family. And we saw that we were able to save around 4 to 6% of their budget just by excluding these products from catalog ads across both Meta and Google. The last example for today is actually a slightly more evolved one. I want to call out that we haven't been able to implement this example across a lot of brands. We are still in the process of doing it. But I personally feel that in India, there's a lot of focus on profitability. And I know many, many D2C founders I speak to, they struggle with profitability. I also feel that sooner or later, all of us will move towards gross profit margin and net margin at a product level. What is gross margin? I have written on the right side, selling price minus COGS. Selling price is, of course, MRP minus discount. So it's the price where you sell the product for. Net margin is if you also remove shipping and cost of ads from the product. We did this for a brand Include, where for every product, we map the gross profit margin and the net profit margin. You can see on the slide, we have a dummy data, which we have put in a screenshot of the platform. And we were amazed to see that there are a lot of products which have negative margin, but they still kept on getting a lot of spends. So we highly recommend that if you can exclude products which have lower margin percentage, so that our spends don't go in that direction. Again, one case that Meta and Google do not have margin information, which is why they have no clue that you might be promoting those products which have very low margin, and a lot of your budgets might end up getting wasted in these products. We have seen around 5 to 10% savings just by excluding low margin products from the catalog. So that sort of summarizes the 5 key examples I wanted to cover today. As you can see, I have listed them all on the slide. Each of them individually can have a saving of, let's say, single digits, 2 to 3, 4 to 6, 8 to 10, but sometimes even double digits like 10 to 12% for non-performing products. But collectively across brands, we have seen that they have many cases, we have seen 10 to 15%, even 20% savings if you are able to apply one or more strategies. Of course, we may not be able to apply all 5 of them for any particular brand, but mix and match, we have seen some strategies work for some brands. And collectively, we have seen that brands are able to save around up to 20% of ad spends. Now, before we move further, we have a quick poll. Maybe I'll pass it on to Shubham once more, just to sort of run this poll.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, Anshuk, for that brief presentation. So we have a quick poll now. So which strategy do you see yourself applying for your brand? I think you can see the options on your screen. I'll quickly read out the options as well. Exclude non-performing products, curb spends on low-price products, avoid promoting products with low inventory, exclude products with broken sizes, refrain from promoting low-margin products. Request everyone to please vote and see which strategy will be best applicable for your brand. I think we have got the response from everybody. Like Anshuk mentioned, all these fives are really important. May not be applicable for all five for your brand, but even if two or three gets applicable, then we have seen brands saving up to 20-25% of ad spends collectively. Over to you, Anshuk.
Perfect. Right. So I could see a lot of people talking about low ROAS products. Of course, low ROAS products is the first thing you should be excluding because that's a clear saving. And I've also seen some people talking about broken sizes. Again, I would say that in apparel fashion, broken sizes exclusion almost always makes sense. And we have implemented it across majority of the clients we work with. I'll share with you a screen towards the end as well. Like we discussed in the beginning of the webinar, how do we solve this manually? So even today, I'm sure you or your teams must be doing this in some shape and form. What we have done is we have listed down the process which we used to follow till about a couple of years ago when we were doing it for our brands. Number one step is you pull all this data from Meta and Google. So you pull product-wise spends from Meta, product-wise spends from Google. Many of us may not know that actually Meta and Google do give this data in their UI as well. So Meta has a view where you can go and look at product-wise spends. Google also has a view where you can go and look at product-wise spends in Performance Max campaigns. We have felt there are certain challenges in looking at that data because the data is very voluminous. It does take time, but you can actually go there and download this data. Similarly, Google Analytics also gives this view where you can download product-wise conversion data, which is views, add to carts, purchases, checkout pages at a product level. And Shopify gives product level revenue data, of course, and an inventory management system like Unicommerce or Vinculum will give product level inventory data. So first step is you get all this data onto, let's say, different Excel sheets or CSV files. Second is we map all this data to SKU IDs because we need a common ID across all this data. We do this GUI lookups, which is done in Excel, but these days AI can do it much faster. And then in the third step is you can create a 2x2 matrix once you get all this data of spends and revenue or spends and ROAS, spends in rows, ROAS in columns, and we will be able to create this matrix. If you see here, this 150 is the product count, but we can also look at revenue. We can also look at spends in this 2x2 matrix. So this is how a brand will do it manually. We ourselves used to do it. Once you're able to identify these SKUs, which could be like 150, this is how it can be uploaded on Meta. So I'll show you a quick video. So Meta has an option that you go to the commerce manager, you identify all the items, you search for an item. In this case, you can see this particular item. You put the ID, you select it, you sort of disable it, and then you can also go and check it. We can clearly see it's archived. If you can see archived here, status archived. So this is how the products can be archived, right? But as you saw, it needs to be done at a product by product level. So we have seen that it takes sizable amount of time to really archive them on Meta. And the data keeps changing. Your conversion rates might change like every day. They might change like every hour. So we have seen that for best efficacy, you need to sort of do this process every 3 to 4 hours, or at least 2 times in a day, which also becomes quite a lot of manual effort. What I'll show in the subsequent slides is what do we do differently just to make life easier. This is the 3-step process which we follow using our BigAtom.ai technology. So we have API integrations with all these tools. We are one of the authorized partner of both Meta and Google. We are top 10 Asia Pacific partners of Meta. So we have exclusive access to their APIs. So we pull all this data at a product level programmatically every hour from all these tools. And this is very voluminous data. So because we may have a catalog of like 1 lakh products. So we will pull 1 lakh products. What is the impressions? What is the clicks? What is the spend on Meta, spend on Google every single hour? So this is obviously a lot of data. We use cloud and then we bring all this data together, which is the step 2, which is again programmatically we are able to map this data And then you have these rules in the platform, which I'll show a video in the subsequent slide, which you can apply on top of this data. So for example, you can say ROS less than 1x, revenue greater than 10,000 INR, and we show products in a real time. And with one click, we are able to actually exclude them from Meta and Google every 4 hours. So in many ways, once you set these rules, you don't have to really worry about it ever again. We do encourage brands to sort of review these rules once in a while so that it sort of works in the way we want it to work. And I have a couple of screen recordings just to help you visualize how it's done. So I'll show you it on the screen that this is a live sort of a demo sort of a thing. So we can put this condition that catalog spends on Facebook and Google as x-axis, ROS on y-axis. We can choose 3000 INR and 4x. And in real time, we can generate this 2x2 matrix, which I showed in the first slide as well. You can see 1300 products which have an ROS of only 2.16x, which is really, really low, I would say. And when we click on view products, we can see exactly which those products are. 1300 again, as you can see on the screen. We can see all the data for those products, which includes spend data, revenue data, analytics data, ROS data. We can see which these products are, click on each product. And if you are convinced that these are the right set of products, we can apply a rule where we can exclude them automatically. So this is a great way to identify where the spends are going waste. And if I show you the next slide, this is how it looks like. So you can see, yes. So you can see you can apply these rules. Once you are convinced that these are the right set of products, we can then also set up a frequency. We can say that run it on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, every day, run it on 2 days a week, 3 days a week. We can say exclude from Facebook, exclude from Google. We can also put a cap that do not exclude more than 10% of the products, which sometimes is important. You don't want to be excluding a lot of your products. You can also decide, is it based on last 7 days? Sometimes you have seen last 3 days also work really well. Because if you're entering into a sale or coming out of a sale, you have seen things move really, really rapidly. So 7-day might become a too long a window from a computation perspective. The last sort of couple of screens. So this is the broken size thing which I spoke about. Now you can actually identify each category like jeans, map, which are the core sizes, like in this case, 30, 32, and 34, and then put a condition of in-stock percentage, what you see at the bottom, that only 40% of my core sizes are in stock. Would I consider this product as in stock? So basically, in many ways, you're actually completely changing your stock definition. And we have seen some good results sort of come from this as well. So this is I'm sure Shubham will talk more about it as well. This is a 30-day free trial we are sort of offering. Shubham, you want to talk about it?
Yeah, sure, Anshuk. Thank you. Thank you, Anshuk, for those insightful tips on how brands can use stop loss to save ad budgets and ensure that right products are promoted. I think with catalog sizes increasing massively nowadays for brands, it's very important that the paid marketing budgets are allocated on those SKUs which are actually in stock and are performing well for the brand. Personally, I have seen brands spending close to 40-50% budgets on non-performing SKUs, and that has been one of the major reasons why the paid marketing ROAS has always been on a lower end. So I think this stop loss rule definitely helps the brand. We have seen some use cases as well with the likes of Levi's, Include, Rare Rabbit, Realism, Puma, where they've seen close to 20% to 25% improvement in their ROAS as well. I'm sure our attendees would have also, realized how important stop loss is now and would be excited to apply these strategies to boost their performance. Um, Before I talk about what's there in the current slide, I would just like to open the floor to questions from the audience. Please feel free to drop any questions for Anshuk and Sriram. Sriram, who leads our product for BigAtom, is also here to answer any of your queries as well. Yeah, so I think we have a few questions from the audience. I'll quickly take it up. So one question that I have got is, if I have excluded the products, will they be excluded forever? Can I include the products back into my campaigns also? Sriram, do you mind taking this up?
I'll take it up, Sean. It's a very good question. I guess we get asked this question a lot of times that okay, my product is currently a non-performer, but then due to some other reasons, like let's say probably it is not the right season to sell. Maybe right now your summer wear might go into your non-performer bucket. So what we do is we also give you a condition to include. So you can set up a condition saying that let's say if my product starts performing organically, for example, let's say if my product gets an average sale of 5 to 7 units for a week, then I want those products to be included back. So the system not just excludes it, but also checks for the excluded products if they are improved on performance and then includes the product back. So this is one way of doing it. Second one is obviously you have the option of manually including a product back. You find out that, okay, this is one product which could work really well right now. You can just go and select the product and include it back. But we always suggest all the brands to put in an inclusion condition so that any product which has started performing well, that comes back in stock.
All right. I think thank you, Sriram, for that answer. Another question that I have is, can I check which products? Sorry, I think this one's already taken. So I don't have a dedicated tech team. How can I send the margin and inventory data to BigAtom? Is there any way that we can do that?
Yeah, maybe I'll take this one also. So this is again one concern a lot of people might have is that okay, I'm not that good with tech. I cannot send all this information. How do you get this information? So that's where we come in. So you don't have to worry about it. We just have you just have to connect to your Shopify or whatever backend system you're on, and we pull the rest of the information directly from there. So let's say you connect your Shopify to our system with a one-click integration. Beyond that, all your inventory information, how many quantity you have for a particular product, all of them we fetch from the store, and we automatically provide it to you in your analytics. So once you get in analytics, then it's all creating rules. So you can set up a rule like, let's say, if my product currently has less than 10 units of inventory, then mark that product as out of stock. So all these information like profit or let's say inventory is automatically pulled by us from multiple systems. Let's say we can also connect with external systems like a Unicommerce or let's say IMS, OMS systems, eShop box, and pull this information.
Superb. I think with today, a lot of D2C brands, especially in the SMB sector, don't have a high-end dedicated tech team. So with this seamless integration, I'm pretty sure it'll be helpful for brands as well. Another question that I have got is, if I have excluded the products, sorry, my bad again. Can I check which products have been excluded via the stop loss feature? Do the brands get visibility also on which products have been excluded?
Yes. So we provide detailed logs of what is happening with your stop loss, like what Anshuk showed you. We can set up rules on to run on a daily basis or let's say on a specific time basis. So when the rule runs, we give you a list of what all products have been excluded, what was the spends which these products incurred in the previous period, so that you get to know what is the savings you're getting. And also, we tell you what is the logic which helps you save it. So users might get confused that, okay, I did not put this logic, why is it saving? So we give you detailed information of why that action was taken.
Superb, superb. We have another question. I'll keep on going as long as we keep on getting questions. So this question is your product, can your product pull data from marketplace portal also like Myntra, Agio, Amazon, Nykaa, or is just limited to D2C, Meta and Google?
So yeah, we also do have a product where we get this information from marketplaces like Myntra, Flipkart, and Amazon. We do pull information from these marketplaces and provide you the same functionalities where you can identify what are your non-performing products and help you remove those products from these platforms because these platforms are still not that much matured like what you have in a Meta and a Google. It's majorly products is what helps you save a lot of budgets and optimize your campaigns. We do have a product which will help you do that. You can reach out to us with the link which you saw in the QR code. We can help you with a demo of the product for sure.
Thank you, Sriram, for that. I have another question for Anshuk actually. What all things are included in the 30-day free trial? I think I've not spoken about that in the previous slide, but I'll just quickly call out to our audience that we are offering a 30-day free trial for BigAtom. You can scan the QR code, which we will be presenting subsequently, and you can reach out to our team, fill the form, and we will then have a word with you on how you can avail the free trial as well. But Anshuk, if you could just answer this question as to what all things are included in the free trial of BigAtom.
Yes. So we will actually cover the sort of the 5 key examples we spoke about today. I'll tell you how it looks week by week. So the first is the moment we start the free trial, we have an onboarding process. If you're on Shopify, it's very, very straightforward. If you are on a custom platform or a Magento or a BigCommerce, we may take a couple of days to get the integration up and running. Post that, you'll be able to log into the platform, create that 2x2 matrix. We also have a customer success person sort of assigned to you. So just in case you face any difficulty, you have a support person to sort of help you fix that. We will sort of work with you on making sure that you are able to deploy at least one of these 5 strategies, if not, let's say, more than one. Once the strategy is live, you will see this trail of all the products which are getting excluded because of this strategy. You will also be able to see how much were these products spending, and had they not been excluded, what kind of budget would have got wasted. This is mostly going to be in the week 2 and week 3. By the end of the 4th week, we'll be able to sort of, from the platform, quantify that what percentage of your ad spends actually got saved because of stop loss. So if you have a spend of, let's say, 20 lakh a month, and let's say you're able to save 5% of it, we're talking about 1 lakh a month, so that you can be very clear what kind of a value you're able to get from the BigAtom stop loss solution. And if you do see value at the end of the month, then we'll highly encourage you to sort of move to a regular paid plan and sort of start the annual subscription. There are additional features which we haven't spoken about today, more around overlays. We have features around product set and product group creation, which we have seen work really well. But we usually recommend brands to start with the stop loss and then move on to more advanced features on the product.
Thank you, Anshuk, for answering that. I have another question for Sriram here. So, will the products be marked out of stock in real time? So, how quickly does BigAtom integrate the data, and how quickly it applies the rule for stop loss? Can you just answer that?
Yeah. So we do this refresh of your stock status every hour. So that's the minimum both the platforms allows. So we update your information every hour. We get the information from your source platform, let's say Shopify, for example. And then we see the broken sales condition, whatever is applied. Let's say if M&L is not available, we mark the identify that as out of stock, and keep pushing this information to your system within the next hour. So technically, within 1 hour is the maximum window your product could be running with a broken size. But yeah, we usually see that is a good enough time, because that's the time which both these platforms by default have.
Sure, thank you. Another question, Sriram, that I personally also have here is BigAtom applicable only for Shopify brands, or we can get integrated with, say, Magento, WooCommerce, or any custom built website, say on Find also?
Yeah, it's a very good question, Shubham. I guess it is available for all the platforms. We have default integrations with Magento, Shopify, WooCommerce, Find, all these platforms. It's just a one-click integration for the brand. They don't have to provide any tech integrations for us to get this enabled. All that they need to do is to just come into our platform, go to the setup screen, just connect your Facebook account, Google account, your Magento store, for example, and you're all set to go live with the Stoploss functionality. So for custom brands, or let's say clients who are on absolutely custom website also, we have detailed documentation of what information we need, and we can also work with a tech team to get the right information to enable it. But majority of these ready-made available platforms are default integrations with us.
And I think Anshuk mentioned in his one of the slides that we are also integrated to BigAtom, eShop Box, Unicommerce for inventory management as well. So I think that also is seamless here.
Absolutely. Yes. We also integrate with these platforms to get information about what is the inventory, what is the product level revenue you get out of these products from Unicommerce type of platforms. That is also directly integrated with us. You just have to do it on a click of a button.
Sure. I think we have one last question for Anshuk here. Anshuk, how do we calculate how much spends has been saved with any stop loss rule that a brand has implemented on Big Atom?
Yes. So I briefly covered it in my previous answer also. So I'll tell you how it can be done. So imagine you have 1,000 products, right? And we capture the spend data on each of these 1,000 products for the last 7 days. Now, out of these 1,000 products, there are around, let's say, 30 products which we believe have, let's say, broken sizes, and we recommend that these should be excluded, and we also exclude them from the catalog. We calculate how much was the spend these exact 30 products spent in the 7 days before they got excluded from the catalog. So this is the actual spend which the brand did on these exact 30 products from day, let's say, -7 to day -1, assuming day 0 is when you excluded them. And then we report it in the platform also. So we have a stop loss sort of a metric tracker where we clearly show you how much budget you have saved because of stop loss. And if you have multiple stop loss conditions, we are able to show you cumulatively how much you are able to save because of all these conditions put together. So in many ways, this sort of makes it very transparent as to are we excluding the right products and are we delivering the right value using our stop loss solution. Back to you, Shubham.
Thank you, Anshuk, for that. We have actually we just got another question, and I just like you to take it up. Apart from ad support and catalog support, will the product also help in trend analysis or any upcoming fashion trend under Big Atom?
Right. So definitely yes. And I'll give you one example which as we speak we are sort of observing. So we work with this brand called Bewakoof. It's a very large apparel fashion brand, and we see that from December 15th to January 25th, these are the 40 days when winter does best in India and North India and any part of the country. Because post January 25th, a lot of brands go on sale. Jan 26th is Republic Day. In February, nobody wants to buy winter wear because winter is sort of receding. People don't even buy summer in February because it's too cold to wear a t-shirt. So Feb is not a great month, which is a different topic for another day. But the call out being in the platform, you can clearly see that what percentage of spends are going on to winter, what kind of an ROS are you getting from winter, and how is it changing day on day, week on week, month on month. And that sort of gives a lot more clarity onto trends which are happening. And the same thing can be done for top wear versus bottom wear, shirts versus t-shirts, trousers versus jeans. A lot of those trends can be observed in the platform. We have seen so many brands taking even merchandising decisions based on the data they see in the platform. You can look at discount percentage wise what is picking up. You can look at new inventory versus old inventory. You can look at age wise, 0 to 30, 30 to 60, 60 to 90. So a lot more. I think we've seen merchandising team being super happy with some of the data they see. So this could definitely help in that.
Super. Thank you, Anshuk, for that detailed answer. With this, I think we've come to the end of our webinar, and thank you all for joining. I would just like you to scan the QR code. I was just coming to that. So, like Anshuk mentioned, we are offering a 30-day free trial for all the attendees here. So if you could just scan the QR code and fill out the form and also book a call. Our team will reach out to you once you fill out the form with all the necessary details. And happy to give you guys a detailed demo as well when you if you book a call with us as well. Thank you, Anshuk and Shriram, for your amazing insights. And a special thank you to all of you who joined us today. We keep doing this series of webinar. Like I mentioned earlier, this is the fourth one that we did in this Big Atom series. We will be back with the fifth episode of this webinar series as well. We will talk about another way how you can save budgets or improve ROAS on your paid marketing campaigns. So stay tuned until we come back with another webinar. Thank you everyone for joining.